I've always emphasized on the importance of the international markets. This was a fantastic year for 3X. We had a seminar in the University of Miami. We had an event in Miami. We have collaborated with Joe Butler. This was very interesting. And we've created this UK group that's for majorly relocation of investors from UK to Dubai. We are working on especially the Dutch region as well. That's Belgium, Swiss. Today, we're going to talk about the African market in Dubai, and I have Fred, who has 10 years of experience in the African market, and me and Fred are going to work on a collaboration and a plan on how to create a more valuable impact. But over to you now, Fred.
Just to give you some stats and figures from Henley and Partners. So the African market has a population of about 1.4 billion people. The GDP is around 2.9 trillion dollars. Out of that, Africa has 150 something thousand or 300,000 millionaires, dollar millionaires. I mean, people who have investable liquid assets, $1 million that can be deployed today. We have 345 centimillionaires, and we also have 20 billionaires in dollars.
Wow. Okay.
So the African market is big.
Of course.
When you look at Africans who are wealthy, who are living in Africa, when you start looking at the diaspora Africans, basically Africans who work and live abroad, that number doubles or something.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So most of those people, they're having to face a lot of challenges in Africa where they can invest safely.
Understood.
Where they can ensure that their wealth is transferred to the next generation.
Yes.
And all those options sometimes are not really readily available.
Correct.
Most of the time I find that when it comes to Dubai real estate companies or advisors,
right,
sometimes they tend to focus so much on the product and not on the needs of
the requirements of the investors.
Exactly.
This is the problem of Dubai market in general. The advantage of the African market is that they already have very strong trade relations with Dubai. The most of the African investors I've dealt with are already exporting something from Dubai. It can be clothes, spices, cars, trucks, machinery, So I know that they have an existing relationship, but the major problem is trust. This I've observed, I worked with investors, a lot of investors recently from Madagascar, Kenya, Sudan. Somehow I've not met, maybe once or twice I've met from Nigeria. Yeah. Even though I'm presuming that Nigeria is where the big money lies. So much of investment across the world going into Nigeria right now. I saw recently, especially the development in the Lagos, that waterfront in the coastal area of Lagos.
Atlantic City.
Oh my God, that was big news. That was really big.
Massive.
And it was so expensive.
Yeah.
And so I think they're opening up for the first time freehold investment in that location, right?
Yeah, I think last time I checked, they were already doing it.
Right.
Now, the key challenge, especially with Atlantic City,
right?
Well, I'm not from Nigeria, but I do follow some of the things.
Right.
Is number one, the Nigerian currency is extremely volatile. So sometimes you'll find that, for example, Atlantic City, most of the properties are above $1 million.
Correct.
And you're talking of apartments, not even villas.
Yes.
So even for the uber wealthy in Nigeria, you are bound to look at the valuation and you're like, okay, it doesn't really make sense.
Understood.
Because $1 million, easily, you could get something in the UAE, you could get something in London, you could get something in New York. Much safer markets.
I'm not going to comment on this on the safety. I'm not commenting on that. But no, that was what a lot of investors explained. But they did explain something about trade license. I don't remember it now. They explained that it was a freehold trade license and it was an easy way of moving money as well. So, but if Dubai offers that, so a lot of people are not educated on that they can open up a freehold company where they have 100% ownership, and you can easily open up a bank account, and how to move that money from Africa to Dubai. You can invest with government linked products, like let's say an Emar or an Akil, where it's absolutely safe. You're investing with the government, So with like I said, with my African investors, it was about that initial breaking. Like once they develop that trust, then it's an open flow of investment.
First of all, I think one of the key challenges that you're experiencing is Africa as a continent. First of all, let's look at it from this perspective.
Okay.
There is sub-Saharan Africa and there is North Africa.
Okay.
North Africa mostly has Egypt,
Algeria,
Morocco,
Tunisia,
and so on and so forth.
Right.
Those ones are more integrated with the rest of the Arab world.
Okay.
Easily well integrated.
Okay.
Sub-Saharan Africa is where you have your West Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, South Africa.
Okay.
Most of those markets are not highly financialized.
Okay.
So basically, their system is not as integrated with the rest of the financial systems of the world. And that's why when you're looking at Africa, your main markets in, let's say, North Africa, you're looking at Morocco, you're looking at Egypt.
Yeah, two main markets.
West Africa, you're looking mostly at Nigeria, Ghana.
Okay.
In East Africa, your anchor market is actually Kenya.
Okay.
Then in the southern of Africa, you're looking at South Africa.
South Africa is huge, of course.
So if literally you want to get in any of those particular regions, you have to use these anchor countries. Because one, they are well financialized. So most likely, most of the other investors within the region are holding or keeping their money in these particular central hubs.
Okay.
So for example, in Kenya, where I come from, it's very easy for you to get money in and money out of the country without having any sort of restrictions.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that means, a wire transfer from Kenya to Dubai is easily possible. Because right now, that's another big issue from UK or Europe, China. The biggest issue is moving the money.
Yeah.
And so, but you're saying from Kenya, it's easy. Okay, so that's
Don't get me wrong. They'll still need to confirm where the money is coming from, why it's moving out of the country. But it's fairly easy. It won't take you weeks or months just to get money out of the country.
What is the tax situation? Are there high taxes in Africa?
Yeah. In fact, some of the key challenges that African investors really face.
Okay.
At the very top of that list, I would look at taxes. For example, Kenya, where I come from, corporate tax, depending whether you're a local company or a multinational, could range anywhere between 30 to 35%.
Oh, wow, okay.
So you're looking at as well at pay as you earn. For somebody earning $180 roughly a month, begins from 10%.
Okay.
And for high net worth individuals, that goes as high as 30%. That is pay as you earn on a monthly basis.
If they invest in Dubai, do they still have to pay tax to the...
No. That's for our jurisdiction, that's a plus for you.
Understood.
Because like even for me, whatever I earn from Dubai, I don't have necessarily to pay taxes on it.
So when you transfer, let's suppose you made profit over here. When you transfer the money back, even that's not taxable?
No.
Oh, wow,
in fact,
that's amazing.
One of the key markets that's really building the African market is diaspora remittances. So this is the people who are working abroad.
Okay.
The money they send back home. The largest market for that, easily in sub-Saharan Africa, is Nigeria. I think they are touching somewhere close to $19 billion a year. Money sent back home by Nigerians working abroad. The second market, I think, is Ghana. Then you have Kenya, and these guys are around. Kenya is about to hit, if all goes well this year, $5 billion in remittances. And the biggest markets for that is the US, the UK, Germany, Saudi Arabia, UAE. Those are the Kenyans working there, the money they're sending back home.
Understood.
Majority of that money goes into assisting their loved ones back home. Okay. But the second tier of that money goes into real estate investments, which most of them lose a lot of their money.
Of course. I mean, see, now this is where, this is the whole point of why I started the YouTube channel, why I started the company. It's education, right?
Yeah.
And because a lot of people see till date, till I'm talking about 2025.
Yeah.
Recently, there was this Dubai World Cup horse races, and so a lot of Americans had come where they still have this misconception that, oh, can we hold hands? We have to wear long clothes. Is it safe? Or our money is not secure. And so when I conduct these events, and I do these seminars and I explain how Dubai has grown and how safe it is, that your money is in escrow, it's not with the developer, and you can withdraw it at any stage. You can trade, you can look at Dubai like a stock.
Yeah.
It's like, I always explain that Dubai is like Singapore, but 10 years before.
Yeah.
So, and it's moving, it isn't that Singapore model, and right now Singapore is too expensive, right? An investment probably in Singapore in real estate may not make complete sense.
Yeah.
So you have that opportunity, that window at this stage. So look at it like a stock. So this is what we explain. We go there, okay, you've got trading, you have Airbnb, you've got property management, you've got your rental income can go as high up to 15%. And if you trade and you get into the right trade, you can make, in some cases, all the way up to 100%, but on leverage trading. So when we explain all these concepts, people are like, wow, then why am I investing in Africa?
Yeah. Africa is an emerging market,
right,
for people with long-term patient capital. You can literally try, you can risk it there. It will pay off. But as well, Africa is tricky in the sense that structurally and policy-wise, there's still a lot that requires to be done.
Okay.
For example, one of the big challenges that high net worth individuals and business owners they face is when it comes to the business scene, sometimes it can be politicized. So if you become too big, it's again a problem. So one of the opportunities I can see for African investors, and this is a massive opportunity and an entryway into the Dubai market, is business setup. You literally need to diversify so that all your accounts and all your money are not held in one jurisdiction, which is a big mistake most of them actually make.
But this is a mistake people all across the world make.
See,
now the people who understand the importance of diversification, let's say example crypto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now people are like, oh, okay, maybe I should put 15% of my crypto into real estate, and that real estate may not be as interesting as crypto, but then when I get profits from real estate, I can put that back into crypto, create that cycle, and that model can be replicated any part of the world. So now investors from UK, US, Europe, Africa are beginning to think, okay, maybe I should diversify a certain portfolio of my investments, you know?
Yeah.
And if we were to conduct events, where would you start?
I think around the 5 or so markets I talked about, the anchor markets.
Nigeria.
So in sub-Saharan Africa, you're looking at Nigeria being the main one.
Right.
So in Nigeria, you're looking at Nigeria is big in itself. You're looking at Lagos.
Okay.
Then you're looking at the East African region.
Right.
You're looking at Kenya.
Right.
As the main one.
Okay.
You're looking at South Africa as well.
Okay.
You had mentioned Madagascar as well, because the other two countries are North African.
Right.
So you're looking at Egypt and Morocco as well.
Okay.
But for the rest of them, Tanzania is an interesting one. I told you they discovered gas deposits. So I'm sure Tanzania in the next couple of years will be an interesting market just to basically diversify.
Okay.
But as for the rest, Mauritius is also big because they have a good financial system.
I have a lot of clients from Mauritius as well. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Which interestingly, the CEO of one of the biggest banks of Madagascar is actually one of my clients.
Yeah.
And he has invited, he said, no, there's a big Indian
community,
and Pakistani community in, especially there's a particular, so it's called Gujarat in India. Okay? So it's Sindhis or Gujaratis, you know, so they are a big, mafia is a strong word, community in Africa, you know. And so he was like, you should come and there's a large group of investors interested, but I didn't have a link. That's why I was so happy when I met you, because I was like, see, every time I conduct an event, so when we went to Miami, we had a Chinese investor who said that, hey Zohaib, why don't you come over? He invited us, and so he connected us to a network, because when I'm going to a new place, I would need somebody to connect me to a group, because I don't take support from any developer, right? So the whole thing is funded by us, and so it can become quite an expensive affair. So if I'm meeting a group of investors, it's not about just money, right? It's about time as well, right? So that is why you are very special to me. That I've always wanted to target the African market.